Hey guys, this is Kevin from fearlessprogression.com, and today I want to start off with a quote. And many of you guys have probably heard this quote before, and it is a saying by Warren Buffett, and that is, the best investment you can make is in yourself. Now, I want to start off this video just by giving you guys a bit of a background on my personal finance story and kind of where I'm coming from here. So, when I was younger, I worked a minimum wage job for a few years. And as a result of that, I found myself often being as frugal as possible with my spending, even on very simple things such as food. And, I've gone better with this. I still suffer from it a little bit, but not as much as before. Obviously, I'm still very young, so the money that accumulates in my bank account is not as high as it would be for someone who's older and has been working, let's say, a job for multiple years. So back then, though, it was quite bad in terms of how frugal I was, and I would find myself, even when it comes to food, instead of getting, let's say, Starbucks coffee or even Tim Hortons coffee, I'd be going and getting 7-Eleven coffee, which is obviously the cheapest possible option. And even when I went out to drink with friends, I'd be finding the cheap watering holes. Where can I get drinks for under $5? Let's say. So stuff like that are just a couple examples. And when I was 18 years old, that's when I started to really discover some like self-help strategies out there. And I spent many hours just going through forums and different free resources online, spending hours on YouTube, kind of getting deflected off a bunch of walls, not really getting to any particular destination or advancing with my goals in any way. I just kind of got distracted from many different angles and got many different perspectives off these videos and forums and different resources that I used. For example, I was looking into a lot of psychological resources online, different social anxiety stuff for my mental health. And obviously, this is not the most reliable resources because if I really had a problem, I should invest in seeing a psychologist and proper or psychiatrist and get proper help that way, or invest in coaching or an actual tangible course of some sort that's going to help you along your goals and really help you advance and not dabble around with different kinds of resources. So I would, go through all these forums and stuff, and that's how I used to be. But now, this past October, I took things more seriously and I invested in a support group that I went to see for social anxiety and that kind of stuff. So I invested in a support group. I spent the money. It wasn't necessarily cheap. In fact, not all of it was covered by my insurance. There was a lot of it that wasn't covered. But I had no problem spending money that way because I realized that, this is an investment I'm making in my own development, my own growth. It has a lot of potential down the road, and it's not something that's going to provide me instant gratification right now. Now, another example is I used to spend, a lot more money on clothes and alcohol and things like that. Some nights out I'd spend $50 on drinks. Like that's ridiculous if you think about how much like it's all an investment that provides instant gratification in the very moment that you buy it, and it has no real benefits in the future. And I was very cheap in terms of this in terms of this kinds of stuff. Now, in terms of business related stuff, when I was trying to learn more about online marketing and how to build an online business, I spent a lot of time going through free Udemy courses. Udemy, I think, is a great platform for buying some starter courses, but a lot of the courses are of cheaper value and they offer based on what price they actually are. So some of it won't offer as much value as other courses that you could invest in. And there's a lot of courses that are there for free and are just of very low quality. So that kinds of stuff. And I went through many different kinds of YouTube online marketing videos, just watching all these tutorials. But I spent about a year doing that and I didn't get anywhere with it. I never made any advances. I never made any money. I never, even set up a blog or a YouTube channel or anything like that. I couldn't get started. I didn't know where to go. I had analysis paralysis because I had so much information I was taking in. Now, another last example I want to give you here is that I went to a Toastmasters meeting actually 2 years ago at my school, and this was a time when if I was honest with myself, I would tell myself, I need to go to Toastmasters. I need to improve my leadership skills and communication skills. But even though I went and it didn't seem like a bad idea, I wasn't turned off by the group or anything. because it involved me filling out an application form obviously spending a bit of money in terms of the dues that you have to pay. I refrained from doing that. But now this past year, I was honest with myself, and I knew that this was something that was beneficial to me, and I had no issues paying the money that corresponded with the dues I had to pay. So these are some core examples of how I've gone from, being very frugal with my spending, not wanting to spend in things that could have long-term benefits and long-term returns, and instead, putting those things off in favor of spending money on things like nights out and food and stuff like that. Now, one thing I want to emphasize here is that the best value you're going to find is in products that are a little more pricey, a little more expensive. I'm not saying all products that are very expensive or potentially overpriced can provide you with the value that's equivalent to it, but you're going to have to spend a lot of money or a certain amount of money to get the value that is associated with that. There's really no quick fix when it comes to time or money. So I want to tell a bit of an experience in my online marketing journey. I attended a live event this past year on how to build an online business. It was like a 3-day live event, and live events are great. It was a great opportunity to meet some people and learn a lot of advanced strategies, and I did get a lot of value out of that. And I remember, going to the initial presentation. It was like a 2-hour presentation where at the end of it they had an upsell where you'd actually spend money to attend this 3-day live event. And I remember being one of the first people in the room to stand up and that, wow, like I'm gonna fulfill my dream here, like this is it, like this is gonna be the moment I start an online business. And I remember spending like around $750 to go to this 3-day live event. And when I went to the event, I found myself receiving a lot of value, and there was a lot of good aspects of it. I got to network with some people, I got to meet some successful online marketers, but I left the event not really knowing or getting any tangible advice and knowing how to actually start up my blog and start my online business. I just had a lot of advanced strategies, how to use ClickFunnels and how to set up ad campaigns and stuff like that, but I didn't know how to actually start. And what happened was at the end of the 3-day live event and towards the middle, they were offering upsells, which are actually very, very pricey. Now, I'm talking like over $10,000 here to actually take things to the next level and actually get that tangible advice to help you start up your blog and get your online business off the ground. And that was something that I just wasn't willing to do because, first of all, I don't have that money out of my pocket, and I just wasn't very comfortable doing that. So what I ended up doing was I ended up searching for a course that was kind of middle ground, but I still had to invest more money to get to where I want to be. See, I had to invest over $1,000 on affiliate marketing mastery, and I've received tons of value from it. And so far, it has been something that I have been able to use and has actually given me that tangible advice, that step-by-step strategies to be able to actually start my blog, start a YouTube channel, grow my following, and do real, be able to actually take action and not just get a bunch of information from here and from there. So, it took me that much to really get to the point where I'm getting proper value, and it did involve a lot of spending on my part. But sometimes that's what it takes. And another thing I want to emphasize here is, know your budget. But don't be too frugal, I was aware of my budget. That's why I didn't go over to the $10,000 product, because I knew that, what? I'm not comfortable putting myself into debt. Some people are, gets to that point where, as Tony Robbins says, sometimes you have to burn your boats, if you want to take the island, sometimes you got to burn your boats, go on with absolute commitment, and give yourself no option of going back. And, you have to succeed. You have to find a way to make that money back. But, it's just something personally I don't feel comfortable with going into debt at this stage in my life where I'm 21 years old and I'm still in school. So I found a product that was still quite pricey, but, within my budget. So I was able to do that. And I do believe, though, in, cutting down useless expenses, just like you have to manage your time, you have to manage your money, cut down things, don't, go out twice a weekend, maybe go out once. Or if you do go out, don't spend money. You don't need to buy alcohol to necessarily have a good time. You don't need to eat out at an expensive restaurant. You can, choose a cheaper place or maybe have a night in or something like that. There's ways to get around this, and you just have to evaluate what's more important to you. Look at your priorities and see like where do I want to be, and based off my goals, what is more important to me? And that's an important question you want to ask yourself. So, if you do want to exceed in any of your area of your life, I just want you guys to understand that, free products are great. They can provide you some value here and there. But if you want to really gain true leverage and true potential success and get real value and to help you actually advance and make progress on your goals and move at a good pace, then you need to be able to spend money on yourself and don't view it as something that's a bad thing. This, in my opinion, this is something that can give you some of the most long-term value of all, as opposed to spending money on clothes or something like that. So that's it for today, guys. I want to urge you to, if you enjoyed my content, please head over to my blog at fearlessprogression.com. There should be the words up in the video somewhere, or maybe a link in the description, wherever you see it on the screen. And of course, I urge you to follow me on social media as well. You can like me on Facebook at Fearless Progression. Follow me on Twitter at FearlessProg, FearlessPorg, or follow me on Instagram at Fearless Progression as well. So that's all for today, guys. Have a great day and take care.